Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts, America's Still Beautiful podcast, a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts, America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today.
Welcome to GSMC, America's Still Beautiful podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. Hello, everybody. How is it going today? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far and a wonderful week. I hope it's been productive. I hope you've been spreading kindness every single chance that you get. I am back to share more feel-good, positive stories with you. I got lots of good ones today. We're going to be talking about an entrepreneur. We're going to be talking about a selfless teen. We're going to talk a little bit of some animal stories. I have what most Americans say they couldn't have gone through lockdown without. I have a really cool story about the video game industry and what it's doing to protect the planet. I got lots for you, okay? So many good ones, so many feel-good, positive stories. So let's jump right into it like usual. All right, so the first one I'm going to share with you is about the entrepreneur. So it's a Nigerian entrepreneur, and he invented a giant solar-powered refrigerator, and it cuts spoilage to help farmers earn 25% more. Pretty cool, right? So it's honestly, think of it this way. One of the great inventions in human history is the refrigerator. And now it's being brought to rural fish and produce markets in Nigeria through this entrepreneur's invention. So it's 100% solar-powered walk-in cold storage rooms, okay? His name is, I honestly can't pronounce it correctly, Namika C. Ikawanu. Sorry, but he has been showered with awards for this invention. It's called Cold Hubs, and it uses transformative technology that, like all great innovations, tackles several problems at once. So about 6,000 tons of fish are harvested every single day on the rural side in Nigeria. And due to the tropical climate, only about 2,000 tons of the fish are sold fresh. And basically, it's the same deal for fruits and vegetables as well. So, which on average, it can survive, a maximum for only 2 days in the West African nation's heat and humidity. So, it doesn't last very long. It's a lot of food waste, right? A lot of things not being able to sell fresh. So this is literally designed specifically for off-grid areas, and Cold Hubs, it basically employs rooftop solar panels to generate enough electricity to power the units in all weather conditions, no matter what, while providing reliable 24/7 refrigeration. So this cuts down on spoilage, and it also leads to much higher profits as well. So a bag of fresh bonga fish should in theory fetch between about $20 to $40. But without storage facilities, fishermen either sell the same bag for much less to avoid spoilage, or they smoke or dry the fish and sell it days later. So accepting much less due to the higher value and demand that fresh fish commands. So Cold Hubs currently serves over 3,000 farmers and fishermen, about 3,500 farmers and fishermen, and the company has so far installed 24 hubs, so it's saving over 20,000 tons of food from spoilage and employing 48 women to service the refrigerators. So it's a rental cost of about $1 a day, and it's on a pay-as-you-go subscription model, so users can increase their income by being able to sell more fresh food. Pretty cool, right? So he's just an entrepreneur. He did this all by himself. So cold hub fridges can extend the life of fruits and vegetables from 2 to 21 days. and this increases vendor and farmer profits by 25% on the average. It also increases the entrepreneur energy among the users, as literal days of their life are freed up from having to spend time buying, sourcing, shipping, and throwing away extra produce. So it's saving people time as well. So he won the 2020 Wasteless Global Citizen Distributor Award. It's $50,000 cash prize, and he says he will use it to build 2 cold hubs in 2 fruit and vegetable markets, so that's saving 3,200 tons of food from spoilage yearly, and increase the income of 200 users and create 4 new jobs for women. Pretty cool. There's more than money to the equation as well, though. He says that tackling food spoilage is important because according to the International Food Policy Research Institute, it is estimated that a 10% reduction in global food loss will result in 11% decrease in hunger and 4% decrease in child malnutrition worldwide. In Nigeria, 35% reduction in post-harvest tomato loss alone would impact vitamin A deficiency for up to 1.1 million children per day. So it's a classic economic case of what is seen and what is unseen, he says. But even, the world might never understand how much entrepreneur, educational, or economic advances could arise from cold hubs that are present in this country. But he says you are going to be seeing it soon. All right, now my next story is about a selfless teen. He is now known as a local hero because he has been making daily trips during lockdown to clean dirty road signs and cut back town hedges. He's just a teen boy. He was annoyed by road signs that were left dirty and that hedges were overgrown during the lockdown. So he decided to become a local hero and go on a mission to clean everything up. His name is Joseph Beer. And he basically just noticed that dozens of the neglected street signs and hedgerows were, while he was just out on his daily walk with his mom. He's only 15 years old, and he decided that he wanted to clean up the streets. So with the help of his dad, he got his trailer fixed up to the back of his bike, and he started pedaling around the streets near his house. And literally almost every single day, he's from England, and he headed off to do more tidying up in his community. He has autism and ADHD, and he has scrubbed these street signs that have been left almost unreadable due to the moss growing over them. And in other places, the hedges have become hazards because they've left to grow until they completely, obscure road directional signs from view. But he just wanted to do this all by himself, and his efforts have definitely not gone unnoticed. So the people of his town and surrounding towns, particularly a driving instructor, actually got in touch to thank him for uncovering the hidden road signs. And one neighbor, who his family did not even know, was so impressed by his cleanup of the town, he actually set up a GoFundMe page just to reward him. So there is a GoFundMe page, and it's already raised over £1,000 in donations. His mom, Lisa, says that her son has been working really hard almost every single day during the lockdown. Says, we are absolutely blown away with everything he's done. His dad and I are so proud. So he comes back, I guess, absolutely filthy, and he's still carrying a bucket of water, which by the end of the day, it's turned black from all the cleaning that he's done. And then he'll hop in the shower and get ready to do the whole thing the next day. Pretty incredible at 15 years old. He started sharing photos on his Facebook as well. And he says that he finds it really satisfying to look at the before and after pictures and see the obvious improvements that he's made in his hometown. His mother also says he has an incredible heart, and now he just wants to share that money that was raised for him. So he's donating to the local food bank and for families who are struggling to feed themselves at the moment, especially during the pandemic. And he usually boards at a residential therapeutic school during the week, and he's been in need of a routine just with his life, and since the school closed in March. So he just found this cleaning project, and it's really helped him cope with life right now and just everything in general. So he says every single day he just wanted to find something new and challenging to take on, and he said lots and lots of energy, and he just wanted to put it to practical use. So he just points out that all things need cleaning and improving, and he's noticing that new things every single day when they go out for their daily walks, and he's still going at it every single day, going to help the community and be the local hero. I love hearing stories about young kids just helping for the good of their own heart. Like, just love that. All right, well, it is time for a little bit of a break, but don't go anywhere, because when we get back, I'm going to share with you what most Americans say they couldn't have gotten through lockdown without. You might be surprised, or maybe not. I'm also going to share another story about some animals, okay? Some predators that have a soft side. It's a new study, and it's pretty interesting. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to GSMC, America's Still Beautiful podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo, just in case you forgot for some reason. But hello, I'm back to share more feel-good, positive stories with you. Now, I want to share what most Americans say that they couldn't have gotten through lockdown without. Any guesses? Well, their feline friend, their cats. They said that they couldn't have gone through lockdown without their cats. Okay, so 3/4 of Americans that have cats couldn't have gotten through the quarantine without their pet. This is all according to a new survey. So there was a poll of 2,000 cat owners, 57% of them whom also have a dog. They looked at various benefits provided by their furry little friends during the pandemic and how much they helped through the entire thing. So pets were found to ease feelings of anxiety. 57% said having a pet made them feel less alone. 49% said it helped them feel less anxious. And those weren't just the only benefits. 41% said being with their pet gave them someone to talk to. 35% said their pet brought a feeling of positivity to their days. So there's lots of benefits to having a pet. And I guess especially during quarantine. 2/3, so about 66% of cat owners surveyed, they learned or noticed something new about their pet, and 3 out of 4 respondents became closer to their animal as a result of the quarantine. And being cooped up indoors gave the respondents time to uncover a new spot their cat enjoys hiding in. That was about 64% that said that. And 57% noticed a new behavior and discover a new food their pet likes. Pretty interesting. I guess that makes sense when you're not usually home all the time and now all of a sudden you are. You get to know their sneaky little ways and what they do. But for many of us, it's kind of time to slowly returning back to normal, or the new normal, I should say. So the survey found that 73% of those surveys said their cats seemed to be ready for some space away from them. Laura Pletz, who is the scientific service manager of Royal Canine, she says, although many cats are enjoying the attention from their owners being at home, most cats are independent and do a good job of structuring their days themselves. Owners should make gradual changes to help reduce stress and ease the transition back to a so-called normal life. So, with all the things that our pets do for us during quarantine and beyond, it's just no wonder that the respondents wanted to return the favor, because 86% of respondents agree that they want to take care of their pet because their pet takes care of them. All right, so predators also have a soft side. In particular, gray reef sharks are found to form long-lasting friendships. This is all according to a new study that was just put out. A team of Florida scientists have recently discovered that gray reef sharks form long-lasting relationships with each other that straddle the line between friendships and business partners. Interesting, right? So they say that we don't think of sharks as social animals, but they do have social groups. So averaging about 6 feet, 2 meters in length, these great reef sharks, they're the large-eyed sharks of the Pacific and Indian Oceans. They may be aggressive nocturnal predators, but apparently they have quite this soft side with these connections. So scientists found that the social groups of the sharks were remarkably stable, with the same individuals remaining in their cliques of around 20 animals for years. So rarely ever switching associations, despite the presence of almost 8,000 sharks, which frequently the reef surrounding. But so basically they stay loyal to their group, to their friends. So around this remote island, it's about 1,000 miles from Hawaii. Researchers from Florida, the International University in Miami, they tagged 41 gray reef sharks with acoustic transmitters that emit a unique sound picked up by a perimeter of receiving devices that are stationed around the island. So for 4 years, anytime a tagged shark would come within 300 meters of the receivers, their identity would be logged in a database. So this is kind of where they got their remarkable discovery, and it leaves many questions unanswered, actually. So, for example, how the sharks identify each other and what the purpose of their social groups are exactly. And, there is no proof that the sharks have any emotional bond with each other. But they were unsurprisingly reluctant to refer to the sharks as friends, I guess, in this study. And they say that they opted to call them associates, which is maybe a little more kind of accurate, I guess. But considering how gray reef sharks often use their aggression to bully larger sharks, it's maybe for the best. So they kind of form like business partners. One hypothesis as to the purpose of these associations is that they're loosely organized hunting units. So the sharks hunt at night beyond the reach of the receivers, and there wasn't any evidence that deliberate cooperation was occurring in the dark ocean beyond the view of the researchers' team's devices. But they say it might be sort of a poaching strategy. So if a shark tries to attack first but loses, then his associates, his business partners, have an opportunity to follow up. So this might even out the success rate for all the members of a group over a long enough time span, increasing their overall survival rate. So this discovery makes great reef sharks one fascinating fish, kind of like usual. I guess there's still so many unanswered questions, but they do display a collection of highly unusual behaviors in the shark world. So including like they perform threat displays, and now, scientists have just found out social congregation. So speaking of animals, we said that Americans really relied on their feline pet to get through quarantine, and now we know that great reef sharks have a soft side. Now I'm going to talk about a lifelike pet, and I mean a lifelike robotic pet, and how it is bringing joy and serenity to seniors to combat stress and loneliness. So they are lifelike companion animals, and they are now offering the elderly all these feel-good perks of pet ownership, but without, those drawbacks. Owning a pet is a big deal. It's a lot of work, right? So these lifelike robotic pets have been bringing joy, and it's basically pet therapy and numerous amount of benefits. From helping, elevate anxiety and loneliness, lowering blood pressure and cortisol levels, and then just fostering enhanced social interaction as well. So it's pretty cool. So they say that the simple act of petting animals releases an automatic relaxation response, and humans interacting with animals have found that petting the animal promoted the release of serotonin, and some hormones that can play a part in elevating moods. So unfortunately, the practicalities of pet ownership, so of course the feeding, the grooming, the vet visits, the money, not to mention, cleaning up on the occasional poops in the house or whatever it is, that often, it limits the seniors, especially those that are in assisted living, from having an animal, for having a pet. So now there's these breed of robotic puppies and kitties, and many of these seniors are getting the benefits from them. They're calling it the new leash on life. So the leader of the pack when it comes to these robotic companion animals is Joy for All Companion Pets. If you want to go check that out, it's a website. And it's this line of adoptable fur babies, and it's from a manufacturer, Ageless Innovation, and it was specifically created by a group of former Hasbro toy designers with seniors in mind. They say that we have technology that allows you to respond to touch and sound and light in different ways, and that's part of the magic of a companion pet. So in addition to providing companionship, these robot pets have shown amazing promise for improving the quality of life for Alzheimer's and dementia patients. So in the Health Watch interview at the Memory Care Unit at the Hebrew Home in Riverdale, New York, there was a spokesman, Mary Firkus, and she explained that the resident of robotic pets are often used to soothe agitated dementia sufferers rather than resorting to drugs. And these animals are a wonderful way to approach, this comfort and a sense of calm. So you can decrease meds, and these calming influences are, just definite positive things about these robotic pets, and that they provide an opportunity for the resident to be in the role of the nurturer and the caregiver. So these robotic pets are the kind of perfect solution for seniors that are suffering with, unrequited puppy love, or, they want a kitty in a cat-free zone. So you can head over to this Joy for All Companion Pets, head over to their website. There's lots of information on them. If you think that, maybe your mom, your dad, your grandma, or grandpa might enjoy one of these robotic pets, because there is lots of benefits to them, especially the approach to patients with dementia. There's so many studies on that. So search that up. There's so much information on it, and it can do a world of a difference for these seniors. All right, well, it is time for another break, but don't go anywhere, because when we get back, I got lots more feel-good stories to round off today's episode, including another study about smiling. Fake it till you make it. Stay tuned. I'll share with you when we get back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
GSMC, America's Still Beautiful podcast. All right, we are on the last stretch of today's episode, and let's just jump right back into it so I can fill as many feel-good, positive stories in it as possible. So, the video game industry, this is pretty interesting. They have been nudging 250 million gamers to protect the planet. So some of the world's largest mobile video game developers have now formed an alliance to raise awareness about renewable energy and the climate crisis. This is all through the UN's Playing for the Planet initiative. So consisting of around 11 different companies, this is including the console producers Sony and Microsoft, you might know those ones, 25 different design studios with mobile games played by 900 million active users. So Playing for the Planet seeks to leverage a huge number of eyes and ears towards the goal of combating, not just those evildoers in the video games, but the unmitigated climate change in the real world. Pretty cool initiative. So basically they're saying that mobile gaming studios, they teamed up back in spring of 2020 to host the first ever green mobile game jam. And this brought the best minds in an extremely competitive business together to come up with this educational solutions for spreading awareness about the climate crisis. So Inger Anderson, the executive director of the UN Environmental Program, says, "We are excited to see the gaming industry throw its weight behind global efforts to reverse the climate crisis. The climate emergency needs all hands on deck. In reaching out to 250 million gamers, we hope to inspire audiences to take action." So some of the mobile game ideas have already been integrated, and the rest will go live by early 2021 or sooner. So organizers hope that, by next year, additional companies will also join this jam, potentially reaching up to 1 billion gamers. So what is the Green Mobile Game Jam? Well, different developers all had their own ideas on how to encourage initiatives like tree planting and habitat restoration, and how to educate users on renewable energy and the environmental impact of climate change. So the Green Mobile Game Jam, from the Playing for the Planet initiative, they saw this immense creativity of the mobile video gaming world on full display. And some developers added special unique stages and levels of gameplay featuring world regions that are most affected by the climate crisis. So Bali and Indonesia and the Amazon rainforest. And then others added playable storylines. So basically allowing users to experience a parallel story involving greenhouse gas emissions and the warming of the earth. And then others ran in-game fundraisers that would plant trees or support animal conservation projects. So this is all contributing in the game that they would earn the player special rewards. And then Create Mobile actually won an award for the fastest implementation of a solution in their game. It's called ZooCraft, and they used their method to contribute $14,000 to the Wolf Conservation Center. They say, "We felt compelled to act when invited to participate. Climate change will ultimately affect us all and is simply too important to ignore." It says, "And we're in all position to help." So the upquality of a mobile game represents an unusual effective way to communicate to people across the whole of society. So back in September of 2019, the UN headquarters in New York during the UN Secretary General's Climate Action Summit, it wasn't just about the mobile gaming industry that pledged to throw their power behind all of this climate crisis. So basically, from the so-called holy trinity of console gaming, Sony's introduction of energy-efficient technology and suspended low-power mode for next-generation PlayStations put the company on track to save 29 million tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. Another member of the console gaming power trio pledged to engage gamers in sustainability efforts in real life through the Minecraft Build a Better World initiative. And then that saw Microsoft players take more than 20 million in-game actions. And Minecraft is an open world game. I'm sure you've heard of Minecraft, and it allows you to build things with different blocks, right? And users can build literally anything. So from a house, a skyscraper, portals to an underworld, whatever you want to build, you can build, basically. And one gamer famously created a ratio, a 1-to-1 scale model of the entire planet in Minecraft, making it the perfect electronic space for sustainability messaging. So together, the mobile and console gaming has a broad user base as professional sports, but with a much younger average audience, they're representing an enormous opportunity to inspire change in the next generation. All right, so I'm sure you've heard the saying, "fake it till you make it," which basically suggests that by imitating confidence or an optimistic mindset, a person can realize these qualities in their real life. So there's been a new study from researchers at the University of South Australia, and they've confirmed that the very act of smiling, by simply moving your facial muscles, can actually trick your mind into being more positive. It's the power of smiling, people. So this was a study. It was just published in the Experimental Psychology journal, and it evaluated the impact of a covert smile on the perception of a face and body expressions. So in both scenarios, a smile was induced by participants holding a pen between their teeth, forcing their facial muscles to replicate the movement of a smile. And the result found that facial muscular activity generates more positive emotion. So they say that this finding has important insights for mental health. They say when your muscles say you're happy, you're more likely to see the world around you in a positive way. And they say, in our research, we found that when you forcibly practice smiling, it stimulates the amygdala, so that's the emotional center of the brain, which releases neurotransmitters to encourage an emotionally positive state. So for mental health, this has a very, interesting implication. So basically, if we can trick the brain into perceiving stimuli as happy, then we can potentially use this mechanism to help boost mental health. And the study replicated findings from an older covert smile experiment by evaluating how people interpret a range of facial expressions, so from frowns to smiles, and using this pen and teeth mechanism. So it extended this using kind of point light motion images, so spanning from sad walking videos to happy walking videos as this like visual stimuli. And they say that there's a strong link between action and perception. So basically, in a nutshell, perceptual and motor systems are intertwined when we emotionally process stimuli. So a fake it till you make it approach could have more credit than we actually expect. There you have it. Fake it till you make it, people. All right, one more story to share with you today. And it is about these contact lenses, and they are saying that it can stave off worsening eyesight for children if they wear these contact lenses. So wearing certain contact lenses could reduce by 50% worsening eyesight in children. This multifocal contact lens, it's typically used by adults over the age of 40, but it was found to curb the advancement of myopia in children as young as 7, and that's by nearly 50%. So there's been an increase in the condition of this among children linked to surging screen time and shrinking outdoor time during early eye development. So this means that it's all linked to the onset of eye diseases in later life as well. So they've questioned prescribing contact lenses for young children, just given safety fears, but the studies have finding that actually using these contact lenses could have a better outcome than not using these. So the condition occurs when a child's developing eyes grow too long from front to back. So instead of focusing on images on the retina, the light-sensitive tissue in the back of the eye, the images of distant objects are focused at a point in front of the retina. So as a result, people with this have good near vision but poor distance vision. So regular single vision prescription glasses and contact lenses are used to correct this vision but fail to treat the underlying problem. So they're saying that this study, they found that the multifocal contact lenses correct this vision in children while simultaneously slowing the progression by slowing eye growth. So study author Dr. Jeffrey Walleen at the Ohio State University of College, he says it is especially good news to know that children as young as 7 achieved optimal visual acuity and got used to wearing multifocal lenses much the way that they would a single vision contact lens. So it's not a problem to fit younger kids in contact lenses. It's a safe practice. So they're saying that multifocal lenses slowed the progression by about 43% over 3 years and compared with single vision lenses. He also added that greater amounts of myopia and longer eyes are associated with increased prevalence of eye conditions that can lead to visual impairment. Our study shows that eye care practitioners should fit children with high add power multifocal contact lenses in order to maximize myopia control and the slowing of eye growth. There you have it, another pretty cool discovery. All right, well, thank you so much for listening to GSMC, America's Still Beautiful podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. Thank you so much for being here. You know how much I love it and appreciate it. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button so you're notified every single time there is new episodes. Head over to our social media pages, like and follow. We update those regularly. And then as always, you know it, leave a 5-star review. It helps out a ton and I love reading them. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait till next time. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts, America's Still Beautiful podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from social media news to marketing news, and even weird news, the GSMC Podcast Network has you covered. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts, America's Still Beautiful podcast.